iHeartRadio today. Also, our good friends over there at 50-plus AM/FM stations across the country and around the world. iHeartRadio, as I mentioned, and KFRK in Denver. And we have got a great guest we are going to be talking to here in just a few moments. He is a fantastic guitarist, and he is also a just an amazing guy all around. And I know I'm going to butcher that last name. Al PITRELLI, is that right?
Hey, you nailed it, dude. We're good.
Look at that. We usually I joke with people that I'm KJAG the Ugly American because I love to butcher people's names. But talk to me a little bit about Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You guys are going to be going out on a huge 60-city tour. This begins November 16th. You guys are going to be going everywhere from Wisconsin and even ironically, on my birthday at Intrust Bank Arena, November 17th. Talk to us a little bit about this tour and everything that you guys are going to be doing.
Well, this year we're going to be performing a story written by our founder, Mr. Paul O'Neill. It's called The Ghost of Christmas Eve. And the interesting thing about this particular show and story is it's a movie that we shot back in '99. And in very Paul O'Neill tradition, everything we did was a first. You know, from recording Christmas Eve Sarajevo 1224, which became the, number one song in America, number one requested song in America, starting in winter '95 until recently, to doing a couple Christmas records that went multi-platinum before we ever played a live show.
Wow.
He's then said, we're going to do a movie. I'm like, dude, whatever you do, count me in. This is working out pretty good so far,
That's awesome.
And that movie, what did I think was going to happen? I don't know. And what happens is it becomes like everybody's new holiday tradition to watch around the holidays.
Yes.
Like when I was a kid, it was, It's a Wonderful Life, Emil Carr on 34th Street. My family was a little weird growing up Italian in Brooklyn, so we watched The Godfather on Christmas. But that being said,
that's awesome.
And this became like a tradition to other people, like these were to me. So we're going to perform that film in its entirety live and surround it with the biggest rock and roll production on God's earth. And in the front of the story and in the back of the story, we're going to do some songs we've never performed live before because we always want to mix it up a little bit. We have people that I affectionately call our repeat offenders that come back year after year after year because they want their tradition, they want their holidays the way they want them.
Yes.
And I always, and they're very familiar with the stories and the characters and the lyrics and the poetry and all that. But we like to keep them on their heels a little bit too by changing it up and doing some songs that they haven't seen us play before live. And for people who are coming for the first time, dude, it's the funniest thing ever. When I'm standing at, downstage center looking out in the audience and I'm watching people's expressions change, and their eyes get real big, it's just like, oh my God, this is so much fun. It's such a blast. It's going to be 28 years old this coming March or April, I think, when I first recorded those opening notes for that song.
Wow. We have got a great guest with us today. Al joins us from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Now, when you were attending the Berklee College of Music back in like the 80s, did you ever think you would be doing something like this?
No, not like this. I knew I'd be doing something because I wasn't going to have it any other way. I'd rather be broke and homeless than do anything else with my life,
Yeah.
Much to my parents' chagrin, mind you, but what are you going to do? I knew that I was going to be a guitar player or a musician, a piano player. I wanted to be involved in something special. If you would have, you're talking about almost 40 years ago, and if you told me, hey, listen, this is what you're going to end up doing, and, I would have looked at you, dude, no, you're smoking too much dope. Stop it. I wouldn't have seen this one coming. I was, right after I left college, I met Paul O'Neill for the first time, I think, in 1985. And even then, he said, hey, listen, we got to work together one day. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'd love to. You're a good dude and ridiculously talented. And, you fast forward 10 years in 95 when I started working for the man, I still wouldn't have thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing today because who could have dreamt this up except Paul O'Neill?
It is amazing. This, we're playing the incredible TV spot that you guys have released, and looking at the production on
Oh,
this
my God.
thing. You got fire, you got screens, you got. Talk to me a little bit about the production of this thing.
Well, we did our first run of shows in 1999, and it was 7 or 8 cities were on that itinerary, and we had one 24-foot box truck, 2 buses, and a fog machine, and we thought we were it. It was crazy fun, and it was the rooms we were playing, like the Beacon in New York or the Tower in Philly, the Orpheum in Boston, sold out. I mean, sold out clean. So this is like the most exciting, fun thing ever. And Paul said, okay, we're going to go back out next year, and we're going to up the ante, and I'm going to bring out more lights, and we're going to start using some lasers. I was like, cool. He goes, every year out, we're going to make the show bigger and better, And I was like, okay. So in 99, he got a box truck. Last year, we had 21 tractor trailers and 12 buses.
Wow.
This is like one of our kids from infancy to graduating, like valedictorian of Harvard, Like, oh, my God, I'd never seen it on the radar, and it's exceeded every one of all of our expectations, and I'm so proud to be part of it.
I am just amazed that this, just like I said, the video of the production is amazing. Mm-hmm. How do you guys, I'm sure you change out musicians here and there due to various scheduling commitments and things like this. Do you ever find anybody that just can't do the gig because there's so much production happening in the background?
Well, you know what? Most of the folks in the band, we've been together, a lot of us for pretty close to 20 years now.
Yeah.
I don't like change, especially when it comes to the chemistry of an ensemble like this. It's pretty spot on.
That's awesome.
So most everybody's been with us for a while. Every so often, we have a bullpen of like a younger generation of albeit guitar players, bass players, whatever, that we're grooming to be ready. God forbid somebody gets sick out here, or for whatever the reason, we always want younger talent at the ready. And every so often, like one of them will come out and I'll throw them on stage at production rehearsal, and they'll absolutely like flip. Like, how am I supposed to play guitar with all these laser and pyro?
That's
going?
right.
Aha.
That's right.
Aha! Welcome to my world, young man.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is going to be going on their 2022 winter tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, and they're going to be doing 60 cities. This is amazing. Talk to me about just the whole, situation here, because the tour is going to perform 100 plus concerts in 60 cities in just over 45 days. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about I guess the monster that it takes to, from the production to the musicians to getting everybody together, and you guys have got to have your stuff together.
No joke. No joke. Well, again, going back to what we just talked about earlier, you and I, is that it grew up from a truck and a bus.
Yeah.
Or a truck and a pair of buses, right?
And a fog
and
machine.
The more stuff we add, say again?
And a fog machine. You had that one fog machine.
So every year, you kind of start doubling it almost, if you will. Doubling the size of the crew, double the size of the venues. They have to choreograph and rehearse in what manner do the trucks roll into the building. We will rehearse this show probably close to 30 times before opening night, and that includes bus parking, truck parking, load in, load out. It's like a military event. Or like watching. People watch a football game. Like when I watch Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody thinks you're throwing a ball. Nobody understands what went behind the production to televise that football game, or to get that team in that kind of shape to perform at such a high level. And why should the audience know? They just want to enjoy the.
That's right. That's right.
That we put in. The crew works as hard, if not harder, than the band, because they're the ones up and in at 6 a.m. And we'll do 2 shows a day, and they'll tear that thing down by noon and say, "See you in the morning, boss," and they'll be ready for me the next day to do another pair of shows. So
that is incredible.
It tirelessly until it's perfect, because every show has to be perfect. Now, my first show, like you said, is November the 16th. Your first show is a month later.
Yes.
Or a couple weeks later, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It might be my 15th show, but it's going to be your first show, and I want it to be a perfect first show.
You want it to be
And
absolutely
in order to accomplish
perfect.
that, we have to be spot on from the jump.
Yeah. And you guys are literally crisscrossing the United States for this. It's going to be just an amazing 60-city tour. Public tickets are on sale now. And you guys have been all over the place. You guys have another thing that you guys do, which I think is great, is you guys donate to charity with this. Talk to me a little bit about that aspect of it.
Well, that's Paul O'Neill and the O'Neill family. You know, his wife, his daughter. That's who these people are, man. I mean, generous on a different level, and they want to change the world. They want to make it a better world, and I think they're accomplishing that. So since we started touring back in '99, every ticket that's sold, $1 from that ticket will go back into the community where we just played. Now, you know, $1 doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if you equate how many tickets we've sold in the last 20-something years, it's added up to a substantial amount. And I'm proud to be part of an organization that wants to give back to communities because, especially this year, my brother, you know, I don't know what's going on with the economy, but everybody's getting crunched right now. And, you know, people who were down on their luck before this economic crash are really in a lot of trouble. And it's the holidays. It's time to help. It's time to reach out just a little bit and you know, and let people know that, you know, not only are we thinking about them, but we're doing something to help them.
We have got a fabulous guest with us today. Al from Trans-Siberian Orchestra joins us today here in our broadcast. You guys have been called, I love this, a mix of the Who's, Tommy and Andrew Lloyd Webber with Pink Floyd's Lights. I love that.
I'll take it.
It is amazing. If you want to get more information, it's trans-siberian.com. And this is just going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal event. You guys are crisscrossing, as I mentioned, the United States. You're literally going to every state, every city, it seems. I noticed that you guys start in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and then you end up in San Antonio, Texas. Is the tour planned that way on purpose, or is it just that's how the routing works?
That's just how the routing is. You know, availability on the buildings. I mean, you know, we're kind of going head to head with the NBA and the NHL. You know, the athletes. So, you know, that's another art form that, you know, you talk about the preparation for a tour. I mean, the O'Neill family and our managers are like prepping the 2023 tour just to get the buildings locked up so we can come back through town, God willing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. I mean, I remember once we had a show in Green Bay and the next show was in Tampa Bay. I'm like,
Wow.
Yeah, that was a commute. You know, it's like, we might be a little...
We're going to be jumping on some planes.
Yeah, no joke. So, you know, and it's, you know, and I look at my manager, it's like, were you like drinking and just throwing darts at a map randomly, or is this, and he's like, no, dude, this is what we had.
This is what we had.
Cool, I'll make it work, we're good.
So the tour is going to be performing, you guys do about 100 plus concerts in 60 days, in 60 cities in just over 45 days. And you guys have a nice tight-knit group. Everybody just works together. It's fantastic. So do you guys get a chance to do anything at all but show up to the building, get ready for the show, and go? Or
not usually, especially in COVID world.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's kind of locked down out either in the hotel rooms or in the buses or in the dressing rooms. Majority of the shows we're doing double show days. So, you know, everybody's...
I noticed that on this schedule here. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and, you know, to stay healthy, to be healthy for, you know, the band to be at the top of its game, for the singers to rest their voices, there's really not a whole lot of, you know, extracurricular time involved.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, days off, everybody's pretty much just like in their hotel rooms relaxing, because it's a grueling schedule if you don't take care of yourself, and heaven forbid you get sick on a tour like this. That's a miserable time.
Oh yeah, that would not be fun at all. So playing in Trans-Siberian Orchestra, how does this compare to some of the other stuff you've done in the past? Because you've done the Alice Cooper thing, the Megadeth thing. There's been all sorts of stuff you've done.
Well, I mean, I'm much better dressed in this band than the other bands.
Well,
you know, I mean, there's something very, very elegant about, you know, a tux and tails, you know, playing with an orchestra. You know, it's a different vibe. I mean, musically, yeah, there's like some Megadeth and Cooper, obviously a lot of Alice Cooper elements in it because he was the first person I'd ever worked for that, you know, had a theatrical presentation of rock and roll on it. You know, when Alice would dress up as Dwight Fry, it wasn't Alice anymore. It was literally Dwight Fry, you know. But, you know, over the years, it's been a fun run musically, and I've played with a lot of different artists in a lot of different genres, all of which, again, at the time I didn't know it, but all of which was getting me ready for, like, the opportunity of a lifetime to work for Paul O'Neill and play every different style of music all in one band.
Yes.
You know, that's what, you know, you go back to, you know, me playing, you know, in college and all that other stuff. I just knew I was going to do something. I wasn't sure what, but I knew, you know, I wanted to be part of something spectacular, and boy, did that dream come true.
Well, you have had quite the career. You were even in a video game.
Yeah, you know, listen.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
No.
Because
I'll
tell you,
take most of these stories to the grave. It's probably safer that way.
It's probably safer that way. Well,
it's like any other story, though, my friend, and I appreciate you saying that. But
yeah,
you know, my dad told me like a long time ago that, you know, if you want to be a doctor, go to medical school. You know, doesn't mean you're going to be a rich doctor. You're just going to be a doctor. Now, you could work at a clinic, you know, or if you're a lawyer, you could be a public defender, or you could work really, really hard and achieve something spectacular in your field. You know, don't let, you know, the name, you know, predicate like how much money you're going to make and what degree of success you're going to have. What's going to predicate that is how hard you work to chase something that you can't live without.
Yes. Yes. That is sage advice, my friend. Well, before we let you go, once this tour wraps up for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, what do you do after that?
Get ready for next year.
Wow.
Continue to record new material. You know, Paul O'Neill left us such a catalog of unfinished stuff. We have a lot of work to do. We want to put new records out. We have a lot of work to do for the 2023 tour. You know, I have 2 small children. You know, my 3 older boys are all grown up and have careers and wives and all that. And my 2 little girls are 11 and 6. So between TSO and raising a family, and you know, that's enough. I'm good.
That's enough.
Full-time jobs right there.
Well, Al, it has been an honor and a privilege to chat with you. I've been a fan of yours for a while. I just appreciate you making time, and good luck with everything. And Trans-Siberian Orchestra is going to be on tour here before you know it, and they are going to be crisscrossing the United States, sometimes playing 2 shows in one day in various cities across the country. It is just phenomenal schedule, and thanks for doing this, my friend. And the Wichita date is ironically my birthday, November 17th. So
well, happy birthday.
Yes, I looked at that schedule and I'm like, what?
I'd love to say that I did that on purpose, but
no.
I always enjoy my time with you. Much respect. Love to the family. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Have yourself a blessed day, my friend, and good luck with the shows.
All right, you do the same. I'll see you on your birthday.
Thank you, my friend. There he goes, the fantastic Al PITRELLI from Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The fantastic Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And that is that. We are going to wrap things up here. And we thank you for listening. We will see you next time.